Let's do a quick recap of UFC 315. It was a brilliant card. Amazing fights, championship changed hands, and we got to see a new championship contender come up. BSD, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Prepolek. Now, Prepolek has kill shot hands, and that kill shot hands had started landing in round 2, but BSD stuck to his game plan. He came in with a game plan of taking Prepolek to the ground and finishing him with a submission. He tried that in the first round, tried to get an RNC, which I don't think personally was a great idea. He could have finished him on the ground, he could have grounded and pounded him, but for some reason BSD had a game plan, and kudos to him, he stuck to it and finished it. In the second round, when he got Prepolek to the ground, he finished Prepolek with a brilliant arm triangle. It was so tight. He got him in half guard, set up the arm triangle, moved out, sink it in deep, and finished Prepolek on the ground quickly in round 2. Then came the surprise performance of the evening. Surprise for many, but I had expected this all along. Natalia Silva versus Alexa Grasso. About a year back, last year in Feb, I had made a video exclusively on Natalia Silva saying how good she is at her movements, how well she uses her kicks, how difficult she is to catch, and what amazing hand game she has. And she proved that this time. Remember, Natalia Silva is also a BJJ black belt, so even if you take her on the floor, alright, she's not a less of a threat. Plus, it's very difficult to take her down. And Alexa Grasso found out all these things in that fight. Natalia Silva did not give Alexa Grasso even a hint of a chance in the entire fight. All 3 rounds, Natalia Silva absolutely dominated Alexa Grasso, who was the #1 contender and has now placed herself ahead of the contention, right? We can probably see Natalia Silva going up for the title shot pretty soon. I think she needs one more fight before she gets there, but this girl is phenomenal, and what a treat of a fight to watch that was. Remember, if you are still missing out on the fight, if you haven't still watched it, go to Sony Live, watch the fight. Natalia Silva versus Alexa Grasso. What a brilliant performance. Then came a time for a great goodbye. The king of Rio, Jose Aldo versus Ayman Zahabi. Alright, what a fight. This fight was phenomenal. Jose Aldo, despite being 37 years old, put on such a phenomenal performance. They were very, very close. Some people even thought that Jose Aldo actually won it. He was landing great shots, moving very well, but then cutting weight was a problem for Jose Aldo. Alright, even last time he had faced issues, this time he could not make weight. Alright, and age is catching up. So metabolism slows down, losing fat, losing water becomes difficult. Recovering from a weight cut becomes even more difficult, and that was showing. Jose Aldo, who is usually very fluid on his feet and at his movement, in round 2 itself, started showing signs of gassing out. His foot was planted firmly down. That took away his leg kicks, his agility, his speed, and only depending on his hands was not a good idea for Jose Aldo against Ayman Zahabi. In the 3rd round, when Ayman Zahabi finally got him down, Ayman Zahabi managed to completely ground and pound and finish Jose Aldo. But in that fight, in the 2nd round, Jose Aldo had a close encounter with what could have been a victory. Alright, he soccer kicked Ayman Zahabi twice in the face. So kudos to Ayman Zahabi for actually surviving that. Having 2 soccer kicks in the face from Jose Aldo and still surviving the round was a brilliant stroke of luck, or maybe great strength in that skull that Ayman Zahabi has. Whatever it was, Jose Aldo, I think, he lost the fight, but he made a very wise decision of still retiring as a legend. It's good to fade out in the light than to just fade away and become a gatekeeper. And Jose Aldo will always be a legend for that. Then came the fight between Valentina Shevchenko and Manon Fiorot. Alright, Manon Fiorot is brilliant. She's like a younger Valentina Shevchenko. Extremely fast, extremely aggressive, keeps up the pace, relentless, and she showed a new angle to her game this time. Manon Fiorot, who is only known for being a striker, actually showed phenomenal wrestling in this game, which surprised quite a bit of fans. But Valentina Shevchenko is a legend for a reason. One of the finest female fighters to have ever lived, and she proved why that is the case. She is now at 10 championship fights, just one away from the record of the most championship fights by a woman. Alright, and Valentina Shevchenko got a decision win, which was very close. It was a fight that went 1 round here, 1 round there, 1 round here, 1 round there. And in the end, Valentina Shevchenko managed to nudge the decision in her favor, which was great. But it's showing that Valentina Shevchenko now has a few holes in her game and can be exploited as she ages. Will Valentina Shevchenko be able to keep up this run, or will she John Jones the division and wait out the time and not give anyone else a legit shot? That remains to be seen. But the way Valentina Shevchenko is, she's a true warrior, she's a true spirited athlete. I don't think she'll do that, and she will give whoever comes up next a title shot to steal that title from her. And I think she still has a few amazing title fights left in her. She is phenomenal, she is great, and her fight IQ will still keep her at the top of her game for a while now. Valentina Shevchenko, you are a legend. And then came the much awaited JDM, Jack Della Maddalena versus Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad was not a fight favorite, alright? He was not a fan favorite fighter. People did not like him much because he grounded and grinded decisions. But this time we got to see Belal stick to his word and keep the fight standing, which did not go very well for Belal. Belal eventually lost the fight, but he stood and traded with one of the best strikers in the division. JDM proved too much of a striker for Belal to survive. Belal got a cut lip, a broken nose, a broken orbital, and a huge cut on the cheek from JDM's knees. JDM's knees have been fatal even before. Even against Gilbert Burns, when Gilbert Burns shot in for a takedown, JDM kneed him in the face, and that was the end for Gilbert Burns. Even this time, every time Belal tried a slight change in level, that knee was ready, and once that knee struck Belal in the face, that was pretty much game over for Belal from then on. Then came the downslide. With so many cuts and injuries on his face, Belal could not sustain it. But kudos to Belal for actually surviving the barrage of strikes that his head took that day. Towards the end of the 5th round, JDM was literally using Belal's face like a punching bag. He knocked his face in every way possible, and Belal still did not get knocked out, did not get finished. He survived, but the decision went to JDM, who is a better striker still. So now that the title has changed hands and JDM has the title, who do you think snatches the title from JDM next? And will Belal get a shot again for the title? And how soon will that be? That remains to be seen. But now all that this has made up is a complete flux in the title contention for 2 divisions now. And now we shall see as we go ahead. The story gets even more interesting. There's Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev. There is Natalia Silva, Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko. There's Zhang Weili waiting up in another division. So let's see what kind of fights now cook up in the UFC. This is Pushkaraj Shirke for Project Battlefit, and this is Fight Talk. Cheers.